Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
There it is, guys. Just say it with me. Spell it out for me. 4 letters. Here we go. Ready? D-E-A-D, dead. This Mets team is dead. They are done. Stick a fork in them. Like I said last week, there was a little glimmer of hope there. I thought, hey, 2 out of 3 versus Seattle. Hey, you start this series against the Nationals with a win. Let's go get the sweep of the last place lowly Nationals, and let's see what we could do from there. We still got about 30-something games left. We got 7 with Philly on the horizon. Maybe there's even a shot at the division title still. But this team has done what they've done so many times all season long, and that is disappoint and come up short. And this could be the most disappointing of all. They lose 2 out of 3 to the Nats, the last place Nats that fired their manager, fired their general manager. The Mets go out with no whimper whatsoever in tonight's game as they score the first 3, jump out to a 3-0 lead by the 4th inning, and then all of those ugly little things that have happened to this team for 2+ months now just start trickling in slowly but surely. Hit by pitches from the Mets starters, walks, errors, and mental mistakes in the field. I'm looking at you, Pete Alonso. And then our supposed Super Bowl pen addition, and Tyler Rogers gives up a run, gives up another to give it a 6-3 lead, and then the icing on the cake, the icing on this shit cake. Ryan Stanek coming in for the Stanek special. The 3-2 counts, the 3-1 counts, the base hits, the walks, all capped by a 3-run homer from James Wood as the Nats embarrass the Mets out of Washington, D.C. This title couldn't be more appropriate for what just happened over these last 2 days. The Mets are embarrassed. They leave with their tail between their legs with a final score of 9-3 this evening. Guys, the team is dead. They are not making the playoffs. The Reds are now just 1 game behind. This team is done. It's over. They're not going to the playoffs. This team had a golden opportunity in front of them, as they have had so many times throughout this season. So many times, despite all of the issues, the long losing streaks, the injuries, the misplays, the errors, the mental mistakes, bad choices from the manager. They still had a golden opportunity to come off of that series with Seattle after winning it, and to not take advantage of the last place Nationals. They're dead. They are dead. I am out of good things to say about this gutless, this ballless team. They are an embarrassment to a $350-something million payroll. How you could spend $350 million on this roster is mind-boggling. I am beside myself about this team, guys. What's up? I'm Tony Metro. If you're new to the channel, I do daily Mets content, daily recap after every Mets game, or just about. I'm ready to poke my eyes out at this point doing these post-game streams. As you can tell, I'm stuttering my words. I'm going so crazy about it, but be sure to subscribe. Really appreciate it. And be sure to leave this video a like. Go ahead and do that right now if you have not already. You can also follow me on all the other platforms, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all those are in the description below. If you want to tip the stream, keep things going, I appreciate that. You can do it with Super Chats here on YouTube, or go to the tip jar. Link to that is also in the description below. An embarrassing effort from the Mets here over the last 2 games to lose 2 out of 3 to the last place Washington Nationals. Let's go to the chat. Armand, Braves will sweep them this weekend. Honestly, I'm fine with that at this point. Go ahead. Put us out of our misery with this team. Don't even give us any hope, and finally beat the Braves in a series and win 2 out of 3 and make us think that, oh, maybe they can turn it around now. Because how many times have we thought that the Mets are about to turn a corner only to get hit by a frying pan waiting for us on the other end? How many times this year did it look like the Mets were going to get back on track only to step on a nail? This team looks like a disaster. Gutless, lifeless, ballless performance from them. One hit after the 4th inning. One hit. They don't get a hit from the 4th until the 9th with 2 outs when Lindor gets that knock right there at the end of the game. What the actual hell? And oh, by the way, against the worst bullpen in baseball. That's right. 4 scoreless, hitless innings against them yesterday. Man, 1 hit yesterday maybe. And today, 4 2/3 more scoreless and just 1 hit and 1 walk against the worst bullpen in baseball. I've said it a million times. This team gets punched in the face and they just lay there and take it. There is no fight, no gut, and no balls on this Mets team. And I am embarrassed for them, watching them hang their heads in that dugout. What happened? What's going on? We were 23 games over 500 just 5 minutes ago. Yeah, right? That's how it feels. This team has been sleepwalking for 3+ months. And honestly, if the Braves just finally could put them out of their misery at this point, so freaking be it. Unbelievable. David Schultz says, time to release Stanek from the team. They need to promote anyone from Syracuse that can pitch. 100% agree with you, David. Stanek, goodbye. How many times have we seen these blow-up innings from Stanek? Not that the Mets were going to come back in a 5-3 game. Even 5-3 feels insurmountable for this team. So don't get me wrong. Not pinning the loss on Stanek, but he has been horrific this year. He has been awful for this team. He had a really good October for them last year in the postseason. Outside of that, has been awful since the Mets picked him up as a little waiver pickup. They traded for him, but you know what I mean. Took a flyer on him from Seattle last year. Yes, Stanek has got to go. Wouldn't be surprised to see him DFA'd before tomorrow's game. 100% with you, David. Ring him up says, don't give up, man. LFGM, we will come back. I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to say I give up. I'm always going to continue to watch and do these streams here, but I'm sorry, there's nothing that you can tell me that makes me believe this team is going to turn it around. We have been saying this for 3+ months. Over several different awful streaks, I said I wanted a sweep of the Nationals. They couldn't even win 2 out of 3. They couldn't even salvage the series finale. In fact, they get embarrassed by the Nationals in this game to lose 2 out of 3. And now guess what? We're going to watch what a real division winner does against the last place team. When they go play the Phillies next, I bet you this, Phillies won't have any problems taking care of the Nationals. Meanwhile, the Mets look defeated, hanging their heads, can't get on base, fielding errors. It has just been a horrible time for the Mets for the last 3 months, and there's nothing you could tell me that will convince me that they are going to turn it around anytime soon. I will not fall for the frying pan around the corner again. Armand says, I don't believe they'll call up anybody. Hold on, let me go back. Sorry. When the chat goes down, I get a little mixed up. I don't believe they will call up Sproat for Monday. Get ready for Montas to start. Wouldn't be surprised. Probably will be Montas. Probably will be. And it's funny because I made a video today about how, hey, can we trust Kodai Senga looking toward the future? Obviously, he's part of this rotation for good, but I cited, hey, he doesn't really give a lot of length. He gets injured a lot. And the worst thing against Kodai is that he requires them to have a 6-man rotation. And some of the people commented on that saying, what are you talking about? Senga's a part of this team, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, those same people probably complain about Frankie Montas starting. So there you go. Happy? Great. Let's get swept by the Braves and then lose game 1 in the Monday on a punt game to the Phillies, fall even further behind in the NL East. Polar Pete, don't give up. We'll come back. Trust LFGM. I'm sorry, guys. I'm done. I'm done. I'm not going to believe it. Prove it, and then maybe I'll buy in. But I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt, saying, oh, well, the schedule lightens up a little bit here, or, oh, they won 2 out of 3 against the potential playoff team in Seattle. I'm done doing that. Prove it. I have been burned too many times by this franchise over the last 30 years, but specifically to the 2025 team, I have been burned way too many times to simply just go in with blind faith that this team's going to turn it around. I'm sorry. They got to make me believe. Reds are now half a game behind the Mets for the 3rd wild card spot. Okay, so I thought we were up a game and a half, and the Reds lost yesterday, so it kept it at a game and a half. And the Mets lost today. I thought that would make it 1 game, unless I have something completely mixed up. But great, Cincinnati just a half game behind of the Mets for the 3rd wild card spot. CB240203 says that this was just so bad. This was ugly. This was horrible. This is the kind of series loss that makes you think this team doesn't have it this year. This is not the Mets season. There is no reason why you can, no explanation how the $350 million payroll Mets with their 3 best starters pitching for them in this series could lose to the last place Nationals that fired their manager and GM in the middle of the season. There is no explanation for it. It is unacceptable. Unacceptable. I wanted to sweep. They couldn't even get 2 out of 3. They're done. They're dead. D-E-A-D, dead. Over. Don't even try to convince me. There's nothing that can change my mind about this. Absol, 20 blown lead losses, most in baseball. Put a fork in them. They are done. Absol, I love that phrase, put a fork in them. I had the fork as a prop last week. I don't have one today, but if I did, I would stick it in them because the 2025 Mets can't even beat the last place team in their own division. How do we expect them to beat the team that's now 7+ games ahead of them in the division? How do we expect them to hold off the Reds, who have been playing way better baseball than the Mets have been over the last couple of months? Not happening. It's over. I'm sorry. Armand, Reds will take the 3rd wildcard spot and make the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised at all. And honestly, the way they're playing, the way we are playing, they probably deserve it more than we do. And do you really think this team could get hot for the playoffs? Do you really think this team could get hot for the playoffs? Because I don't. Because even during those wins back in April and May when they were 23 games over 500, they were 3-2 against the White Sox, 2-1 against the Pirates, who also, by the way, swept us in Pittsburgh. So do you really think this is a good team despite them being 23 games over 500 at one point this year? Do you really believe they could actually get on a hot stretch there if they made the playoffs? I'm not buying it, man. Prove it to me. Prove it to me finally. David Schultz says, time to fire both the pitching and hitting coaches. Send a message to all the players that they are playing like crap. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, but would not be surprised to see it happen after this season. 100%. I think Hefner's job is on the line. I think Chavez and Barnes are 100% out of the job. Even if they win the World Series, I think they are out of a job. But Mendoza has to also start the season on the hot seat if they don't make the playoffs here in 2025, because this is just insane how bad the Mets have been over the last 3 months. Just how incapable, how futile, feeble they are against some of the worst, quote unquote, worst teams in baseball. But meanwhile, the Mets have actually been one of the worst teams in baseball during that stretch. So I can't even say that we're playing the worst teams in baseball and we should win. But when you look at the roster, when you look at how much money they spent on it, it's pretty embarrassing that the Mets are going to have arguably one of the worst teams that money could buy. History repeats itself. 1992 Mets, 2025 Mets. That's how it's looking right now. Absol shut down by the worst bullpen in baseball for the 2nd day in a row. Like I said, this team gets hit in the mouth and they just lay there and take it. They don't have fight. They can't put together a couple of hits. Look at this highlight here. Bases loaded, 2 outs. The guy we acquired with an ERA of 1.98, a submariner who, if he was on the other team, the Mets lineup, could not touch for their lives. But as soon as he puts a Mets uniform on, giving up base hits, RBI knocks left and right, inherited runners, giving up runs himself. You just can't script it. You just can't make it up anymore. Armand, Reds are a half game behind the Mets. Absolutely, I like this. The acronyms must end this season. Mets must end the season. I am so ready for the season to be done at this point, guys. These post-game streams are killing me. My blood pressure is up 1,000,000,000 points from doing these post-game streams. I can't even just go forget about it. I got to come on here. I got to prep them, and then I got to talk about it. It's supposed to be therapeutic, they say, but honestly, I think it's just making it worse. Let's see. CB says, you're right, but they're still not mathematically eliminated. Crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. Yeah, I mean, I just don't have any faith in this team. I'm sorry. They have given me no reason to believe that they're ever going to turn it around. If there was ever a point for them to turn it around, it was this series. This was probably the weakest series as far as opponents that they have throughout the remainder of the season, and they couldn't do it. They just trip all over themselves, throw up, and crap down their legs throughout this last 2 games against the Nationals. What a joke. 9 unanswered runs. How many more times is it going to happen? How many more times are teams going to put up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 unanswered runs against this team? Absolutely embarrassing from them. Abso says, Alonso, Diaz, and Peterson, I could care less about the rest of this team. Who knows? Who knows what happens? Could be major changes at the end of this season. I don't know. We shall see, but you're not wrong there. Let's see. Sam Man, what's up? He says, Tony the Legend, at least I got to enjoy my dinner. I had heartburn early. LOL. Oh, the pain. Yep. OMG to SMH. Oh, the pain is right, guys. Oh, the pain. The Mets just know how to torture us fans. Just unbelievable stuff. CB says, it's interesting how this whole slide happened after Skeen said their slumps aren't slumps. I don't remember that, but wow, that is pretty interesting. Right around there is when it happened. Yeah, I guess that was pretty much right when the Mets barely squeaked 2 out of 3 against the Pirates at Citi Field, who then a month or so later sweep the Mets in Pittsburgh. But you're not wrong there. Good point. Very nice call by you, CB24. Armand says Mets are 5-16 since July 28th per SMY postgame. Yep, they have been terrible, guys. 5 wins in their last 21 games. Does that sound like a winning team? Does that sound like a team that can win the division or get into the playoffs and make some noise? Because it doesn't sound like it to me. It doesn't sound like it to me when Pete Alonso is fielding a bunt and throws to second. Don't let the ball ever go to Pete Alonso where he has to make a throw because he is incapable of doing it. He can scoop. He's one of the best in the league at that. But if he has to make a decision with where to throw the ball or even a feed to first, just forget it. He's going to make a stupid decision. This team plays dumb baseball. Then you got Cedric Mullins diving for that ball out in center field. And it was almost metaphorical, whatever the word is, about how this team has been this year. Just always inches short. Just always a step or two late. Just always a little behind, and it always costs them. This team just doesn't have it this year. They just don't. It's unbelievable. Let's see. Polar Pete says, don't give up. We will come back. Trust LFGM. I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to, again, not till they prove it to me. Not till they give me a reason to believe. And they have not for 3 months now. They have given me a reason to have a headache and drive me up the wall for the last 3 months. I cannot just blind faith believe this team is going to turn it around when there are literally no signs that shows me that it is going to happen. Not with the lineup, not with the starting pitching, not with the bullpen for the most part, not with the manager, or even the roster as a whole. Cedric Mullins, what a stiff he has been since coming here, huh? And you know what? We all want to get on Ryan Housley. Tyler Rogers has had some good outings, but he's also had some not very good outings. He's been 50-50. Let's be real about it. Okay, so this super bullpen that we made hasn't exactly been holding it down the whole time for us. Part of that? Yeah, because another performance here today from Sean Manaea where he can't get out of the 5th inning. Dominating through the 3rd where Gary Cohen's commentating on how his highest career strikeout total in a single game. And all of a sudden the wheels start coming off in the 4th. He's hitting batters. He's walking them. 2-hit batsmen. How many times with 2 outs or with 2 strikes have Mets pitchers hit batsmen to extend innings, and then the roof just comes caving in on them? It seems like we have just watched this same ugly baseball night in and night out. Walks, hit batsmen, blown leads, not hitting with runners in scoring position, mental mistakes, fielding errors. It's just a different thing every single time from these guys. Oh my goodness. D-Rail's in the chat. What's up, my man? Appreciate you tuning. He says, I guess Mendoza's still a good manager. I told you guys, stop supporting them. That they will support them no matter what. Look, I have said it, man. I have said it. I am closer and closer by the day to getting on Mendoza's case. I already am on the case with him, but I am more and more leaning towards saying, hey, buddy, you're on the hot seat going into next year. They don't make the playoffs. I've already been on record saying you go into 2026, and if they don't get off to a flying start through the first month or two, he is gone. 100% with you there, D-Rouse. This is just crazy what has happened. CB says, 10 years ago at this time, we were on an epic run with Cespedes. And hey, an epic run last year even. We don't even have to go back an entire decade. And yet, here we are now. 10 years removed from our last division title, watching as the Phillies race past us for the next one. And now the freaking Cincinnati Reds are on our tail for the final wild card spot after we just signed Juan Soto to the richest contract in the history of the sport and have a $350 million payroll. What a freaking joke, man. You or Joe says, actually, sorry, I don't want to skip anybody. John says, Mets won't make the playoffs. 100% Reds are coming. Reds are on the case, man. They are right behind us on our tail. 100%. I'm with you there, John. Let's see, Joe, the fat lady is in the house and she's warming up. I think I heard some warm-ups from the fat lady. She is getting ready to take the stage and sing. The Mets are going to welcome her in. They're going to give her a nice standing ovation. This is just crazy what has happened to this team. Yukuku78, I'm starting to call Soto the fluffer. I haven't seen a meaningful home run from him in months. Thank you, Yukuku, because I said this in a video the other day about how it has been a stat-padded season for Juan Soto, and I have been getting comments on the daily, multiple, since that video dropped, even a bunch today saying, stat-padded, this guy doesn't know baseball, this guy doesn't know that. Really? Really? Let's go back to Soto's home run against the Nats in Game 1 of this series. Remind me, what was the score again? Oh, yeah, it was 6-0 at that time. So he made it 7-0 with, of course, a patented solo Soto home run, right? So name me that last meaningful home run or big hit that Juan Soto had. Does that explain stat padded to you? Does that explain fluffed up 31 home runs for him this year? Great. He's got an 878 OPS. Wonderful. What is his OPS with runners on base this year? I'll tell you if you don't know. It's below 630. What's his OPS with runners in scoring position this year? 630. I'm sorry, how you could tell me that he's having a great season when he cannot get a big hit for his life? I'm just out of words. I'm not even going to try to explain it anymore. I'm with you 100%, you cuckoo. Stanley Babbage, how much blame goes to Mendoza? I mean, look, at this point, X's and O's haven't been good. The clubhouse obviously has something going on in there where they're hanging their heads in the dugout. They can't find a way to win. They don't look like a team, man. Last year looked like a team that enjoyed playing with each other, that enjoyed winning and doing everything they were doing. Like, I feel like Cedric Mullins hasn't even introduced himself to these guys, okay? They just don't look like they are a cohesive unit, and that falls on Mendy too. Not having Mullins run yesterday, a 2-0 pitch with Terens at the plate, or giving Terens a take sign there. I mean, that's just the X's and O's side. But the clubhouse side, man, this just does not look like a team that enjoys each other, that loves each other the way last year's team did. And look how far it carried them last year. Something is amiss, man. And I think some of the blame and some of the investigation this offseason needs to go into Mendy's managing style, because this team just doesn't look like a cohesive unit whatsoever. Abso says maybe two new above average starters for next year might fix this problem. Maybe, I mean, we're hoping that would be McLean, Sproat, right? I mentioned yesterday they're going to be getting Christian Scott back at some point, so that's some depth there. I don't think he'll crack the rotation to start the year coming off Tommy John. And then we'll see about Tong being a midseason call. But I have said it, I want a legitimate ace to veteran to anchor down this rotation. But the puzzle pieces are not fitting together, because Frankie Montas is still going to be under contract, because he is 100% going to opt in for the $17 million player option that David Stearns handed him this offseason. Great move. Brilliant. So I don't know how they manage it, man. I really don't. This is looking worse and worse by the day. Military Mike, I can't watch this or hear about this team anymore. I just wanted to say hello because I know we are feeling the same pain. Okay, there we go. Sorry, I can't type. You're good, Military Mike. Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate it very much. I would not be here either if I wasn't trying to build something here and do daily streams with you guys. Guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Leave a like on this video right now if you haven't already done that. Really, really do appreciate it. I'm going to try to cool down a little bit here, but I'm probably going to get heated again. Sound off in the chat, guys. Are the Mets making the playoffs in 2025? I want to hear from you. Let me know right now in the comment section. Are the Mets making the playoffs in 2025? I'm saying no. I said it beginning last week after the Braves series. No, they are not, and I am sticking to it. I thought this might be an opportunity to turn the corner here after 2 out of 3 versus Seattle and what should have been an easy series for the Mets here against Washington. And instead, it was only easy for one team, and they were wearing red this week. So, Richard Zucker, Metro, what do you think they will do against the Braves? I think they're going to lose 2 out of 3 like they always do to the Braves. I mean, I think they'll be lucky to even salvage one game in this series against the Braves, because it doesn't matter that they are 10 games under 500. And, oh, by the way, playing a lot better lately. the Mets can't beat Atlanta, and they especially can't beat the Braves down in Atlanta. So I think they're going to lose 2 out of 3, if not get swept by the Braves this weekend. Would not be surprised at all. Just through our 3 best pitchers, should have been a sweep against the Nats. Instead, they lose 2 out of 3. Now they're going to roll into Atlanta this weekend. Forget it, man. Forget about it. 2 out of 3. Minimum, if not get swept by the Braves. And I hate to be a negative Nelly, guys, but I'm calling it how I see it. We never beat the Braves. Can't even beat the Nationals. We don't have any of our 3 best pitchers on the mound. They'll probably lose the series to Atlanta, if not get outright swept. Chaz and David Elkins Halevi. Sorry, it's June 13th. Okay, I don't know what that means. Richard Zucker, since June 13th, maybe? Is that what you're saying? The record? I don't know yet. I don't see any other comments from you there, buddy. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry. Who is it? Sorry, guys, I got mixed up here in the chat. Let's see, where are we? Richard Zucker, Mullins was your big offensive pickup. Yes, what a great pickup Cedric Mullins has been, man. Wow. I mean, Gary Cohen just raving about all of the long at-bats that Mullins put in today. Let's see. And what did he finish with? If I'm not mistaken, it was 1 hit and 3 at-bats, which is actually probably better than what he's been giving the Mets lately. But yes, that was our big offensive pickup. The team that can't hit with runners in scoring position, that has no protection for Pete Alonso, that gets literally nothing out of third base and center field and catcher. Let's just pick up Cedric Mullins, who had some of the worst offensive metrics in the sport this year so far. Okay, yeah, great pickup there. David, appreciate it. Really do. Let's see. And a big reason for that, by the way, some of his pickups here in the offseason that have barely seen the field, i.e. Jose Siri and Jesse Winker and blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just this team, man. This team. Sandman game, super pen to big pen. It's sloppy in there, man. It's sloppy. And they're not the reason they lost. But, I mean, look, Tyler Rogers has not been as good as a lot of people want to make it out to be. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. Okay? He can't. He could pitch against the Mets and they wouldn't touch him for 10 innings straight. But if the Mets pitch him, they're just finding a way to hit that freaking submarine ball. It's just right down the middle. Right down the middle, just like you saw right here a moment ago. It's just, what a joke, guys. I'm almost out of words at this point to describe this team. Chazin says they wouldn't give Drew Gilbert an opportunity, but got this trash rental. Yep, well, that's how it goes, man. Anything the Mets do, Midas in reverse. Anything they touch turns to shit. Typical Mets, right? Didn't let Gilbert stay and give him a shot at playing center field. Instead, hey, let's pick up Cedric Mullins. That'll be the fix. That'll get this offense turned around. Richard Zucker says Minaya is hurt. Is that you speculating or is there a report on that? I don't see anything right now. But Richard also says, Metro, they did that last year too. What did they do last year? You have to remind me what I was saying when you commented on that. Jimmy James C., Stanek has got to go. 100% Stanek has got to go. I'm with you. I know that someone else said that earlier. He definitely has got to go. Wow, you guys are definitely making this chat pop off right now. So I got a lot to catch up on. Richard Zucker, except for 2 clutch hits. For who, Metro? They need to revamp the roster. They do need to revamp the roster 100%, Richard. I'm with you, man. Joe says, something tells me this Mets team is not going to peak. No, I think they peaked in May. I think they peaked in April and May when they were 23 games over 500 and they weren't even winning in convincing fashion. And there is no peak for this Mets team. This is like that kid in high school that was playing on the football team and then you saw him 10 years after and he's working at a gas station. No offense to anybody that works at a gas station, but he had the world in front of him and he chose not to do it, right? He had opportunities and he just blew it. And that's how it's been for the Mets all season long. They have just let so many good chances to get the season turned around, to so many good chances specifically in games that they just can't take advantage of. And that is why they find themselves now just 7 games over 500. So it is what it is. Again, not disparaging anybody that works at a gas station. You guys are the backbone of America. It was just, little hypothetical there. Anyway, let me see who else. Chazin says they will never bring Wally Backman in here, but that's what this team really needs. Bunch of candy asses. He would straighten them out real quick. Could you imagine Wally just throwing bats onto the field like he did in that whatever independent league game that he was managing for. That would be sick. I would love to see Wally Backman back in the Mets dugout. That would be pretty sick. No, they never will. He never got his MLB shot. I mean, he did there with the Diamondbacks, never managed a game for them. I think he had a DUI or something like that. But Wally's out of baseball, and I don't think he will ever get his shot in the end. But that type of personality, that might be the type of personality this team needs, because right now, man, they are just floundering, just absolutely floundering. Who else? Polar Pete. If you don't believe we will make the playoffs, you aren't a real Mets fan. Polar Pete, there is a difference between hoping they make the playoffs and cheering for them to make the playoffs versus believing that they are going to make the playoffs. There's a difference between blind faith and optimism, right? I could be optimistic about something, but just saying they're going to make the playoffs or saying they're not going to make the playoffs is not based in any reality, okay? But what is my opinion. And that is that for the last 2.5, almost 3 months now, this team has played under 500 baseball. They have struggled against some of the worst teams in the league. They have been swept by Pittsburgh. They struggled to win 2 out of 3 against the White Sox earlier this year, and they just lost 2 out of 3 against the Nationals. They can't find a way to beat the Atlanta Braves, who are 10 games under 500. Meanwhile, the rest of the league apparently has the recipe for that. So I'm sorry, but your starters don't go 5 innings, which is the bare minimum ever. Your bullpen is taxed beyond belief, and this lineup from wire to wire has been one of the bottom 5 at hitting when it matters the most, with runners on base or in scoring position. So I'm sorry, but if you want to say I'm not a real Mets fan because I don't believe the Mets are going to make the playoffs, I'm going to turn it right back and say that people that are going to just have blind faith in them because they wear the orange and blue colors, you're not a real Mets fan. If you were just going to sit here and tell me that the Mets are going to make the playoffs because I'm a Mets fan and I believe in them and I love them, then that's fine and good for you, and I hope I'm wrong. But all of the evidence points to this team not making the playoffs, that this team has massively underachieved to this point, given the roster, given the payroll, and I will never apologize for calling it how I see it. So, Richard Zucker, Metro, they need to revamp the roster. I don't know if they will, but I could see some big changes coming this offseason. We know Starling Marte is going to be gone. Jeff McNeil's having a good year, but just to shake things up, maybe that's something. And I got to be honest, guys, it might be time to have a tough conversation about Brandon Nimmo. Love him. Don't think he's going anywhere because of that contract, but that really hurt the Mets, losing him these last 2 games with the neck stiffness. And this is every year, toward the end of the season where he starts to get banged up or he goes into a slump. And as much as I love Nimmo and I do want to see him finish and play his whole career here with the Mets have bigger goals than keeping guys lifelong Mets, and that is winning a World Series. So who knows what happens with Pete this offseason, but I could say the same about Brandon Nimmo. There's about 2 guys in this lineup you could lock in 100% are playing for the Mets next year, and that's Lindor and Soto, obviously. Outside of that, there's really no changes that I would be surprised by or that I would be opposed to, depending on what it is. So, would not be surprised, though, if there are some massive changes this offseason. Let's see. Chazin says, I wouldn't even want to make it to the postseason with this team. They'd probably just be a disappointment like they have all year long, right, Chazin? Absol says, they don't make the playoffs after getting settled. This is all they will be talking about. They will be roasting us. We will be the laughingstock, the LOL Mets of baseball once again. I mean, would not be surprised to see them just absolutely torch us on MLB Network and ESPN. This is our lot in life. This is how it has always been in my 30 years as a Mets fan. We are just not allowed to have nice things. There is a hex, a curse on this organization. I can't explain it any other way. I said to my family when I was watching the game earlier, it was 3-1, then 3-2. And then right before Rogers came in, my family asked me, what's the score? How's it going? I said, the nut kick's coming. The kick in the balls is coming up right now. You just can see it in slow motion happening every time. Sean Manaea, the wheels start falling off, hitting batters with 2 outs or with 2 strikes, walking them, infield singles, Beatty stepping in front of Lindor on what could have maybe been a double play ball. I mean, it's just, you always know the kick to the nuts is coming. And it's just so freaking predictable with this team, guys. I can't take the pain sometimes. Let's see. Steven Dilcher Soto was a joke. I like Soto. I'm just saying he's not having as impactful of a season as he probably should be for what we paid for this dude. Let's be honest about it. Sandman Games, I've seen lots of pain. Oh, yes, lots of pain. The Mets should have went for Stephen Kwan instead of Mullins, says Polar Pete. I think Stephen Kwan was supposed to be extremely expensive, so I'm okay that they didn't really, give him the contract, or I'm sorry, trade for him for what Cleveland was looking for. But honestly, guys, the Mets weren't just one bat away. That's the problem. Like, we can all get annoyed that, Cedric Mullins has been a huge disappointment, but there was no one bat that was going to fix this lineup. They are just not built on a good foundation. We thought that it would be with Soto, Lindor, with Pete, and with Nimmo, that would be a solid 4 where if you just got enough contributions throughout the rest of this lineup that they would be okay. But clearly that has not been the case. They have not gotten those contributions from at least 3, almost 4 different positions on a consistent basis since the year began. And then, of course, you've had the really big streakiness from all of the core 4 of Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, and Alonso. So there was just no one bat at the trade deadline that was going to flip this lineup around and make them start hitting with runners in scoring position to start being more consistent. It just didn't exist. So let's see. Chazin says OPS is not the end all be all when it comes to a player. All you have to do is watch a team every day for a year. Watch the player. And guys, again, I'm good with Soto. I'm happy we have Soto, but it's also ridiculous when you look at his numbers with runners on base and runners in scoring position, and you look at how many solo home runs he has hit this year. Like, there's no explanation that his numbers could be as bad this year within those situations than compared to what it's been throughout his entire career to this point. There just isn't an explanation, but that's why I said that he's been a disappointment this year, because he has not lived up to the big moments for this team. And I'm sorry, but it has cost them. It has. OPS is definitely not the end-all be-all. It's a good barometer, but it's not the end-all be-all if you ask me. Chazin says, modern-day Ted Williams. Yeah, that's right, because Steven Dilcher says he has a 200 average with runners on base, according to Soto. Exactly. Richard says, exactly. I've seen tons of pain. It grounds you. It does. I'm grinded to the bone, guys. It's killing me. It really is, this team. 30 years of this. You can see it on my face over here. CB says, this team has left a small country on base. Probably big country at this point, guys, right? It's maybe at least New Zealand, I would say, which isn't that big. So it could get bigger, but New Zealand's a decently sized country, right? So let's see. Richard Zucker, don't underestimate the loss of OMG. Jose Iglesias, hey, maybe that glue guy was even bigger than we thought, right? I think a bigger loss was getting rid of or letting Harrison Bader walk, honestly. And then with the chance to acquire him at the deadline, I would have been all over that instead of Cedric Mullins. Instead, to go for Cedric Mullins, the rental, instead of trying to get Harrison Bader. I would have loved to have Bader. And I'm saying he would have turned it around, but maybe could have brought some of the good vibes back. Probably look better than that stiff out there in center field coming up short on that diving play that can't get a hit with the bases loaded the other night. Pops out so they couldn't tie the game yesterday. Cedric Mullins has had zero impact on this team. He has been an absolute dud of a trade. Richard says, I hate to say this, but Cohen and Stearns need to be humiliated, humbled. I don't know what we do. Do we drag him through town, right? Do we have a town squire, commence the whole thing? Stearns, I hope, learns from this. Stop with the glue and patchwork jobs. You got $360 million at your disposal, and I know a big chunk of it was put to Soto, and that was probably under Cohen's guys. But go get some legitimate starting pitchers. Go get a legitimate third baseman, catcher, center fielder, left fielder, DH. How about Kyle Schwarber this offseason, huh? Guy can hit 40 freaking home runs every year for the Phillies. Meanwhile, we just decided, we'll just kind of mix and match it together with Brett Beatty and some with Mark Vientos and a little bit of Jesse Winker and Starling Marte, who is one good leg. Stop with the patchwork jobs. Get us some legitimate players for this team. You're paying enough, $360 million. Every time I brought up the Mets payroll in this video, it's gone up. I think I started at 340, went to 350, and now I just said 360. But it's just insane. what has happened with this club. Let's see. Sandman Games, Lord have mercy. Yep, I'm with you, Sandman. Richard says fate, not faith. Stephen Dilcher, agree with you, Richard. Richard says, hey, Stephen. Let's see who else. CB, I think you're actually more of a fan for thinking they won't make the playoffs. And that was my whole point, man. If you just have blind faith and believe, oh, the Mets are going to make the playoffs because I'm a Mets fan and I believe, like, okay, well, I watch every game, and I can tell you this doesn't look like a playoff team right now, and I'm going to call how it is. I am going to call them out. I am going to make some noise so that there is some change because I love this team so much. So I'm with you there, man. I'm sorry. I think it makes me a bigger fan. Let's see. Danny Caps, facts. Steven Dilcher, sup. CB2403, anyone who's watched this team for the past 25 years knows how these collapses happen. We got a good sense for it now. Exactly. You could just see it all happening in slow motion, like I said. Jimmy James C, every game is a must-win game right now, and they continue to lose in embarrassing fashion. Why should we believe they will make the playoffs? And that's my whole point, guys. I don't. I think this season is done. I think that maybe the Braves will actually do the Mets a favor for once and put the final nail in their coffin here. Take 2 out of 3 or even sweep them this weekend. Do I hope that happens? No. But would I be surprised if that happens? No. Because the Mets have proven they can't beat even the last place in the division teams like the Nationals. And if they can't beat them, who can they beat? And we already know they have no chance of beating Atlanta, especially down there in the ATL. So I'm sorry, but again, I'll say it again. I'll reemphasize it. Prove it to me. Prove to me that you guys can go on a run here, because I thought this would be the turning point for them, but we got fooled again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, a fool man can't be fooled again. Something like that. W. Let's go back to the chat. Couple more here, guys, and then I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go take a hot shower, try to forget all about this freaking game here today. Michael Mass, how are you doing? I'm not happy tonight. Michael, I am beside myself. I screamed, I ranted, I raved for 40 minutes here, and now I am in cool down mode. I need to chill out. I need to relax a little bit. The neighbors probably already called the cops on me. I am not happy. I said I wanted the sweep of the Nats. They couldn't even win 2 out of 3. Forget it, man. This team's done. Sandman Game says Schwarber DH. And then, you know what would happen? The Mets will sign Schwarber this offseason, and he'll hit 26 home runs next year. But everybody will say, but he's got an 830 OPS. Okay, great. He hit 45 home runs every other freaking year for Philly. Couldn't do it for us this year, and I'll be called the crazy Mets fan. I'll be called wrong because he's got an 830 OPS. And he hit 26 home runs. I mean, this is just always how it goes for this organization. Richard Zucker, I've raised some serious hell on X myself. LOL. Attaboy, Richard. Keep it up. Keep the pressure on these guys, because this is just unacceptable, man. Just unacceptable play from this team. Just a terrible collapse. CB24203 says, bit crazy shit, but crazy shit has happened in baseball. They could spite us. Hey, right? Would you be surprised? It's like the South Park episode where the little leaguers want to lose because they hate baseball so much. They try to out-lose each other. Maybe the Braves are going to out-lose the Mets. The Mets are going to sweep and get us believing again in this team right before the series against the Phillies. Oh my gosh. Who would be surprised, right? Only for it to end in even more painful fashion down the road. That's just the Mets lifestyle, guys. Look, normally I would do a preview for tomorrow's game, take a look at the starting pitcher matchups. I can't do it. I'm baseballed out. I'm Metsed out by this team right now. So we're going to wrap it up right here, guys. But thank you so much for watching. If you guys haven't left this video a like already, go ahead and do that right now. I really, really appreciate it from you all. Helps me out a ton. If you guys want to tip the stream, you could do that as well. Really appreciate that. You could just do super chats here on YouTube or go to the tip jar. Link to that is in the description of this video. So thank you for that as well. But let me say my official thank yous to all the commenters. Armand, thank you to David Schultz. Thank you to Ring 'em Up, to Absol. Thank you to Sandman Games, of course, my man Bots and Pans, Sandman Games from OMG to SMH, right? Thank you to CB24203. He came in with some heat today. Thank you to Polar Pete 20. Thank you to D. Rels. Thank you to John. Thank you to Joe. Thank you to Yukuko78. Thank you to Stanley Babbage. Thank you to Military Mike. And thank you for your service, Military Mike. Thank you to Richard Zucker. Thank you to Chaz and David Elkins Halevi. What a name, my man. That is sick. Appreciate you. Thank you to, let's see, who else we got in here? A few more I know that I missed here. I'm looking. Danny Caps came in with the all caps. Appreciate you, brother. Danny Caps always popping off here. Thank you to Steven Dilcher. Thank you to Camden Valentine. I'm sorry I didn't see your chat there, Camden, but hi. Thank you to Mark Rapacuccio. I didn't get to you either. Putting Stanek in a 2-run game had punt written all over, but hey, we weren't coming back from down 2 anyway. 100% with you there, Mark. Thanks, man. Thank you to Jimmy James C. Thank you to Steven Dilcher. I already got you. To Michael Mass and to everybody else. I think that's everybody. You guys are awesome. Seriously, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Again, if you haven't left this video a like already, please go ahead and do that before you leave. But thank you, guys. Maybe a post-game stream tomorrow. We will see, because I may be incapacitated drunk by the end of tomorrow's game, depending on how it goes. No, I'm just kidding. But we'll see. It's 50-50. But definitely subscribe if you have not already, and keep it tuned here for more Mets content on the daily. But until then, I'm Tony Metro, guys. Stay true to the orange and blue.